He said the words that would break me right before he turned and walked toward her. My fated mate, my rejection, my end. The harvest moon gathering always smelled like pine smoke and wild honey, but tonight it smelled like the end of everything I'd ever wanted. I stood at the edge of the clearing, wrapped in a dress I'd borrowed from my cousin because I didn't own anything fine enough for this. The fabric scratched against my collarbone. The bonfire crackled in the center of the gathering, casting shadows across hundreds of wolves from 6 territories. Alphas, betas, gammas. Wolves whose bloodlines stretched back centuries, whose names carried weight. And then there was me, Lena Ashworth, low-ranking, orphaned at 8, raised by an uncle who never let me forget I wasn't really his. But tonight was different. Tonight, I turned 21. Tonight, my wolf would fully awaken. Tonight, my scent would bloom for the first time, and everyone would finally know what I was, who I belonged to. I searched the crowd until I found him. Jax Renner stood near the Alpha's platform, his dark hair catching the firelight. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and every inch the Gamma's son he'd been born to be. We grew up together, trained together. He taught me how to track without sound, how to fight without shifting, how to laugh when the pack made it clear I didn't belong. I loved him before I understood what the word meant, and tonight, when my scent awakened, he would know. The drums started, low, rhythmic, the ceremonial beat that signaled the coming-of-age ritual. My stomach twisted. Lena Ashworth, the Alpha's voice boomed across the clearing. Step forward. Every eye turned toward me. I forced my legs to move. The crowd parted. Whispers followed me like smoke. She's the one whose parents died in the rogue attack, right? I heard they weren't even from this pack originally. Smells weak. I kept my chin up, kept my hands steady, reached the center of the clearing where the Alpha waited, his silver eyes gleaming in the firelight. Kneel, he said. I dropped to my knees on the cold earth. The Alpha placed his hand on my head, his power pressed down like a physical weight, forcing my wolf to surface. She'd been restless for weeks, clawing beneath my skin, but now she surged forward. Heat exploded through my veins. My back arched. My breath came in gasps. The world blurred at the edges, and then everything sharpened. Sounds, scents, the crackle of the fire, the rustle of fabric, the heartbeat of every wolf in the clearing, and my scent. It bloomed like a flower opening in fast motion, spilling into the air. Sweet, wild, something I couldn't name but felt in my bones. The Alpha inhaled sharply, stepped back. The crowd shifted, murmurs rose and fell, and then I felt it. The pull. It snapped into place like a cord yanked tight, connecting me to someone across the clearing. My wolf howled inside my chest. My heart slammed against my ribs. Mate. I turned my head, searching, and found Jax staring at me. His eyes had gone gold. His whole body had gone rigid. His jaw clenched so hard I could see the muscle jump. He felt it too. Relief flooded through me so fast I nearly collapsed. He knew. He finally knew. The bond hummed between us, electric and undeniable. I could feel his heartbeat as if it were my own, could smell the shock rolling off him in waves, mixing with cedar and rain. He took a step toward me. I started to smile, and then he stopped. His expression shifted. The gold faded from his eyes. His hands curled into fists at his sides. No, he said. The word was so quiet I almost didn't hear it. Jax? My voice cracked. He looked at me like I was a stranger, like the bond between us was something toxic he needed to cut out. I, Jax Renner, son of Gamma Renner of the Ashcrest Pack, his voice rang out across the clearing, cold and formal. Reject you, Lena Ashworth, as my mate. The world stopped. The bond between us didn't just fade. It snapped, broke, shattered like glass driven through my chest. I couldn't breathe. Pain exploded behind my ribs, white-hot and suffocating. My wolf screamed. I pressed a hand to my chest, trying to hold the pieces together, but there was nothing to hold. He rejected me. In front of everyone, the crowd erupted. Gasps, whispers. A few wolves laughed. Jax didn't look at me again. He turned and walked toward the edge of the clearing, toward a she-wolf I vaguely recognized. High-ranking, beautiful, the daughter of a neighboring alpha. She smiled at him. He took her hand. I wanted to scream. Wanted to shift and run until my lungs gave out, but I couldn't move. Couldn't think past the agony tearing through my chest. Get up, girl, the alpha said quietly. Not unkind, but firm. I stumbled to my feet. My legs barely held me. I turned away from the center, away from the stairs, and pushed through the crowd toward the forest edge. No one stopped me. No one ever did. I made it to the trees before my knees buckled. I collapsed against the rough bark of a pine, gasping for air that wouldn't come. Tears burned hot down my face. He was my mate, and he chose her. My wolf whimpered, curling in on herself, broken. I didn't know how long I sat there. Long enough for the drums to start again. Long enough for the ceremony to continue without me. And then the air changed. It was subtle at first. A shift in the wind, the faint sound of footsteps too deliberate to be accidental. I lifted my head. Two figures stood at the edge of the clearing, just beyond the firelight. They were massive, taller than any wolf I'd ever seen, broad-shouldered and perfectly still, like predators who didn't need to move to be dangerous. Twins, identical in height and build, but something about them felt wrong. Too synchronized, like they shared the same breath. One of them tilted his head, nostrils flaring, and then both of them went completely still. Their eyes locked on me. Gold flooded their irises. Not the soft gold of recognition, the feral, burning gold of a wolf on the edge of control. A low growl rumbled from one of them, then the other. The sound rolled through the clearing like thunder. Conversations stopped, heads turned. The alpha rose from his seat, his expression sharpening. "Kade, Rylan." The alpha's voice carried a warning. "You're guests here. Control yourselves." But neither of them moved. They stared at me like I was the only thing in the world that mattered. My wolf stirred, lifted her head. She should have been too broken to care, but something about their scent cut through the pain. Smoke and snow, wildfire and winter. The bond I'd just lost throbbed in my chest, raw and bleeding. But this pull was different. It wasn't one cord, it was two. Both of them stepped forward at the same time. "No," I whispered. But my body didn't listen. My wolf pushed to the surface, desperate and confused, reaching for something she didn't understand. The alpha moved between them and me, his power flaring. "Stand down." The twin on the left bared his teeth. The one on the right took another step closer, his gaze never leaving mine. "She's ours," the left one said. His voice was low, rough, vibrating with barely leashed violence. "Both of ours," the right one finished. The clearing went silent. I pressed harder against the tree, my heart hammering so hard it hurt. This wasn't possible. One mate bond, that was the law, one bond per wolf. But both of them were looking at me like they'd burn the world down to reach me. The alpha's eyes narrowed. "Explain, now." The twin on the right finally tore his gaze away from me and looked at the alpha. His expression was cold, controlled, but his hands were shaking. "We don't owe you an explanation," he said quietly. "You're in my territory," the alpha shot back. "You will." The twin on the left moved. 1 second he was 10 feet away. The next, he was in front of me. I gasped, scrambling back, but the tree blocked me. He didn't touch me. Just stood there. So close I could feel the heat radiating off his skin. His eyes burned gold, locked on mine. "Don't run," he said. It wasn't a command, it was a plea. His twin appeared beside him, identical and terrifying. "We won't hurt you," the second one murmured. My wolf whimpered, torn, broken, desperate. And then the second twin leaned in, just barely, and inhaled. His whole body shuddered. "It's her," he whispered. The other twin inhaled too, slow and deliberate, like he was drinking me in. His eyes slipped closed for half a heartbeat before snapping open again, burning brighter. "Impossible," he breathed. But they both moved closer. I couldn't breathe. The pain from Jax's rejection still screamed through my chest, a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. And now these two strangers stood so close I could count their heartbeats, could smell the wildfire and winter rolling off them in waves that made my broken wolf lift her head. "Step back." The alpha's voice cut through the air like a blade. Neither twin moved. The one on the left tilted his head, studying me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. His jaw was tight, his shoulders rigid with restraint. "You don't understand," he said without looking away from me. "We can't." "Then make me understand," the alpha demanded. The twin on the right finally dragged his gaze away from me and turned to face the alpha. His expression was carefully blank, but tension radiated from every line of his body. "We're bound by a curse," he said, voice low and controlled. "One soul, 2 bodies. We've lived our entire lives knowing we could only claim one mate between us." The clearing had gone deathly silent. Even the fire seemed to quiet. "And?" the alpha pressed. "And we just found her." The left twin's voice was rough, strained. Both of us. Whispers exploded through the crowd. I heard fragments over the roaring in my ears. 2 alphas, 1 mate? That's not possible. The curse. Enough. The alpha raised his hand and silence fell again. His eyes moved between the twins, then landed on me. Lena, do you feel the bond? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. My chest was on fire. The place where Jax's bond had broken still throbbed with every heartbeat, raw and agonizing. But underneath that pain, I felt something else. 2 pulls, 2 cords wrapped around my ribs, tugging in the same direction. Toward them. I don't know, I managed. My voice shook. I don't understand what's happening. The twin on the left made a low sound in his chest, almost a whine. He took another step closer and I pressed harder against the tree. Don't be afraid, he said quietly. You're scaring her, Rylan. The other twin's voice held a warning. So the left one was Rylan. The right one must be Kade. Rylan's jaw tightened, but he stopped moving. His hands flexed at his sides like he was fighting the urge to reach for me. We need to leave, Kade said, still looking at me. Now, before this gets worse. She's not going anywhere. Jax's voice cut through the tension like ice. I flinched, turned my head and found him pushing through the crowd, his expression dark. The she-wolf he'd walked toward earlier trailed behind him, confusion written across her face. This doesn't concern you. Renner, Kade's voice dropped into something dangerous. She's part of my pack, Jax shot back. He stopped a few feet away, his eyes finding mine for a split second before sliding away. You can't just take her. We're not taking her. Rylan's voice was tight. We're claiming what's ours. She's not yours. Jax took a step forward and both twins moved in front of me instantly, blocking his path. The air crackled with tension. Power rolled off all 3 of them in waves that made my wolf cower and surge forward at the same time. You rejected her. Kade's voice was deadly quiet. You severed the bond in front of witnesses. You have no claim. Jax's face went white, then red. His hands curled into fists. That doesn't give you the right. We have every right. Rylan's eyes flashed gold. Our wolves recognize her. The bond is there. We didn't reject it. Because you want to drag her into your curse? Jax's voice rose. You'll kill her, just like the last one. The words hung in the air like poison. I went cold. What? Kade's shoulders tensed. Rylan's jaw clenched so hard I heard his teeth grind. It was an accident, Kade said, his voice carefully controlled. An accident that ended with a dead she-wolf? Jax spat. And you want to do the same thing to Lena? My legs shook. I gripped the tree trunk to stay upright. Someone died? My voice came out smaller than I meant it to. Rylan turned to look at me, and the anguish in his eyes made my breath catch. Yes, he said quietly. 5 years ago. We thought she was our mate. We were wrong. He paused, swallowed hard. She didn't survive the claiming. The clearing erupted again. Voices overlapped, rising in pitch and fury. They killed her. The curse is too dangerous. She should stay here. Silence. The alpha's command cracked through the noise like a whip. Everyone stopped talking. The alpha looked at the twins, his expression unreadable. You're telling me you don't know which of you is her true mate? No, Kade admitted. We don't. And if you choose wrong, she dies. Neither twin answered. They didn't have to. My stomach twisted. The pain in my chest doubled, tripled. I'd just been rejected by my fated mate, and now 2 cursed alphas were claiming me, even though one of them might kill me. This couldn't be real. I need to sit down, I whispered. Rylan was in front of me instantly, his hand hovering near my elbow but not touching. Let us take you somewhere safe. Safe? I almost laughed, but it came out choked. You just said you might kill me. We won't. His voice was fierce. I swear on my life, we will figure this out before anyone gets hurt. You can't promise that, Jax said from behind them. And you can't promise her anything at all. Kade turned on him, his control finally cracking. You gave up that right when you broke her heart in front of everyone. Jax flinched like he'd been struck. I wanted to say something, wanted to scream at him, at all of them, at the moon itself for making this my life. But my throat closed up and tears burned behind my eyes. I would not cry again. Not here, not in front of them. Lena. The alpha's voice gentled slightly. The choice is yours. You can stay here, under my protection, or you can go with them and face whatever comes. Both options felt like walking off a cliff. I looked at Jax. He wouldn't meet my eyes. The bond between us was gone. severed cleanly, but the absence of it carved through me like a knife that wouldn't stop cutting. Then I looked at the twins. Kade stood rigid, controlled, every muscle tight with restraint. His eyes were still gold, but he kept his distance, giving me space, even though I could see how much it cost him. Rylan looked like he was barely holding himself together. His breathing was uneven, his hands shaking slightly. He stared at me like I was the only thing keeping him from falling apart. My wolf stirred. She was broken, bleeding, but something about their scent called to her, made her want to move closer instead of running away. "If I go with you," I said slowly, "what happens?" "We take you to our territory," Kade said. "We figure out which of us the bond truly belongs to. We keep you safe while we do it. And if you can't figure it out?" Neither of them answered. "What if both of you feel the bond?" I pressed. "What then?" Rylan's expression cracked. Pain bled through. "Then one of us will die." The words hit me like a physical blow. "What?" "The curse," Kade said quietly. "When one of us claims a mate, the other has 1 year to live. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked." My knees buckled. Rylan caught me before I hit the ground. His hands were warm, steady, and the moment his skin touched mine, the pain in my chest eased just slightly. I gasped. He did too. Our eyes locked and I felt it. The pull, the bond, real and alive and burning between us. But when Kade moved closer, I felt the same thing. 2 bonds, 2 impossible pulls. "This can't be happening," I breathed. "It is," Rylan said roughly. His thumb brushed against my wrist where he held me and I shivered. "I know it's terrifying. I know you're hurt. But please, let us protect you." "Protect me?" I pulled away from him, stumbling back. "You just told me one of you is going to die. How is that protection?" "We'll find another way," Kade said. His voice was certain, absolute. "There has to be another way." "And if there isn't?" Silence. The fire crackled. Somewhere in the forest, a wolf howled. I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to hold the pieces together. Jax rejected me. These twins claimed me. Someone was going to die. And I was standing in the middle of it all, broken and bleeding and so tired. "I need time," I whispered. "We don't have time," Rylan's voice cracked. "Every second we're near you without claiming you, our wolves get harder to control. If we don't leave soon." He cut himself off, but I heard the unspoken threat. They'd lose control. Here, in front of everyone. The alpha stepped forward. "Then you leave, tonight, and Lena decides in the morning whether she follows." "No." Both twins spoke at the same time. "That's my offer," the alpha said firmly. "Take it or I'll have you removed from my territory by force." Kade and Rylan exchanged a look. Some silent conversation passed between them. Finally, Kade nodded. "We'll go," he said. "But we're not leaving without her answer first." All eyes turned to me. My heart hammered. My chest ached. My wolf was a broken, desperate thing curled up inside me, reaching for them even though it made no sense. I looked at Jax one last time. He was already walking away. I closed my eyes, took a breath, opened them again and met Kade's gaze. Then Rylan's. "Where's your territory?" Rylan's expression shifted. Hope flickered across his face, raw and unguarded. Kade's control cracked just slightly. His shoulders lowered a fraction. 20 miles north, Silver Peak Valley. I knew the name. Everyone did. The twin alphas who ruled the northern territories with absolute power, who never attended gatherings, who kept their pack isolated and their borders closed. Until tonight. "If I come," I said slowly, "I need answers. Real ones. About the curse. About what happened to the she-wolf who died. About what happens if you're both wrong." "You'll have them," Kade promised. "And I need space, time to think. You don't touch me, you don't push me, you don't—" My voice cracked. "You don't make this harder than it already is." Rylan's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Whatever you need." The alpha stepped closer to me, his voice dropping low enough that only I could hear. "You don't have to do this, Lena. You can stay here. You'll be safe." Safe. The word felt like a joke. Nothing about my life had ever been safe. "I know," I whispered back. "But if I stay, they'll lose control. People will get hurt." His eyes searched mine. Then he sighed. "You have too much heart for your own good." Maybe. Or maybe I was just tired of being the one left behind. I turned back to the twins. "I'll come. But on my terms." Kade inclined his head. "We leave at dawn." "Now," I corrected, "I'm not spending another second in this clearing." Rylan's mouth curved into something that might have been a smile if it hadn't looked so pained. Now then, the alpha raised his voice, addressing the crowd. The harvest moon gathering is concluded. Return to your homes. Wolves began to disperse, but the whispers followed me like shadows as I walked between Kade and Rylan toward the forest edge. I didn't look back. Didn't search for Jax. The bond was gone. He made his choice. Now I had to live with mine. We walked in silence for the first mile. The twins flanked me, close enough that I felt their presence like heat against my skin, but true to their word, neither of them touched me. The forest thickened around us. Moonlight filtered through the canopy in silver threads. My borrowed dress caught on branches and thorns, but I didn't slow down. Couldn't. If I stopped moving, I'd start thinking, and if I started thinking, I'd fall apart. You're bleeding, Kade said quietly. I glanced down. A thin line of blood ran down my calf where a thorn had caught me. It's nothing. Let me. No. The word came out sharper than I meant it to. I took a breath. I said no touching. He backed off immediately, but I caught the flash of frustration in his eyes. Rylan made a low sound in his chest. Not quite a growl, more like physical pain. Is it always like this? I asked. The pull? No, Rylan admitted. His voice was strained. It's worse because you're hurt. Your wolf is calling for comfort and ours are losing their minds trying to answer. Then maybe you should have thought of that before claiming a she-wolf who just got her heart ripped out. The words were cruel. I knew it the second they left my mouth. But I was so tired of being careful, of being quiet, of pretending I wasn't bleeding from the inside out. Kade stopped walking. I took 3 more steps before I realized and turned back. He was staring at me with an expression I couldn't read. You're right, he said. The timing is terrible. You didn't ask for this. You don't deserve any of it. He paused. But our wolves don't care about timing or fairness. They only know you're ours and you're in pain. I'm not yours, I shot back. I don't even know you. Your wolf knows us, Rylan said quietly. She recognized us the second our scents hit you. You can deny it all you want, but the bond is real. I wanted to argue, wanted to scream that nothing about this was real, that bonds were supposed to be simple and beautiful, and not this tangled, cursed mess. But my wolf stirred at his words, lifted her head, reached toward them even though I tried to pull her back. Traitor. Fine, I said. The bond is real. That doesn't mean I have to like it. We're not asking you to like it, Kade said. We're asking you to give us a chance to figure it out before someone dies. The bluntness of it stole my breath. Someone dies. One of them. If we got this wrong, if I chose wrong, I wrapped my arms around myself. How are you both so calm about that? We're not. Rylan's voice was rough. I've spent every day of my life knowing I might have to watch my brother die, or that he might have to watch me. We're not calm. We're terrified. Kade's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes went dark. Haunted. Then why risk it? I demanded. Why claim me at all if it means one of you dies? Because the alternative is worse, Kade said flatly. If we don't claim our mate, we both go feral. We lose our minds, slaughter everything in our path, and the pack has to put us down like rabid dogs. He took a step closer. At least this way, one of us survives. One of us gets to keep you safe. The weight of it pressed down on my chest until I could barely breathe. That's not fair, I whispered. No, Rylan agreed. It's not. We stood there in the moonlit forest, 3 people bound by a curse none of us asked for. Finally, I started walking again. They followed. Tell me about her, I said after a while. The she-wolf who died. Silence stretched between us. I thought they wouldn't answer. Then Kade spoke. Her name was Iris. She was from a small pack near the eastern border. We met her at a treaty negotiation 3 years ago. Both of our wolves reacted, Rylan continued. Just like with you, we thought we'd finally found her. The one who could break the curse. What happened? Kade's voice went flat, emotionless. We brought her to our territory, spent weeks trying to figure out which of us she belonged to. Every test, every sign pointed to me. My stomach dropped, but it wasn't you. No, he said quietly. It wasn't. Rylan picked up the story, his voice raw. I claimed her. The bite, the bond, everything. For 10 seconds I thought it worked. Thought we'd beaten it. And then, I barely got the word out. Then she started screaming. Rylan stopped walking. His hands shook. Her body rejected the bond. Rejected me. It tore her apart from the inside. She died in my arms, begging me to make it stop. Horror crawled up my spine. Oh God. We burned her body according to her pack's customs, Kade said, sent her ashes home, and we swore we'd never risk it again. Until tonight, I whispered. Until tonight, he confirmed. Because even knowing what could happen, our wolves won't let you go. Can't. You're different than Iris. How? You're sent. Rylan turned to look at me, his eyes still holding that terrible grief. Iris smelled like spring rain and new grass, soft, gentle. Wrong. Wrong? For us, Kade clarified. Our wolves are born from a curse. We need someone who can withstand that darkness, someone whose wolf is strong enough to survive the claiming. And you think that's me? I shook my head. I'm low-ranking, weak. I couldn't even keep my own mate. He's an idiot, Rylan said with such sudden vehemence that I blinked. And you're not weak. You're standing here, bleeding and broken, facing down two cursed alphas who just told you they might kill you, and you haven't run. That's not weakness. Something in my chest cracked. Not the bond. Something deeper. I'd spent my whole life being told I wasn't enough. Too quiet, too small, too forgettable. And here were two of the most powerful alphas in the region telling me I was exactly what they needed. It felt like a lie. It felt like hope. I hated how much I wanted it to be true. I need to know something, I said. The truth. No games. Anything, Kade said. If it comes down to it, if we can't figure out which of you is my real mate, what happens? They exchanged a look. We'll find another way, Kade said. That's not an answer. Rylan stepped closer, stopping just outside of touching distance. Then here's the truth. If we can't figure it out, I'll step back. I'll take the year I have left, and I'll make peace with it. I won't let you die like Iris did. No, Kade said sharply. We agreed. I'm agreeing to nothing, Rylan cut him off. She's not dying because we can't figure out a centuries-old curse. Neither are you. One of us has to. Their voices rose, overlapping, years of argument condensed into seconds. I watched them fight over who got to die for me, and something inside me finally snapped. Stop, I said. They kept arguing. Stop, louder. They turned to look at me. Neither of you is dying, I said. My voice shook, but I forced it steady. You're going to figure this out. Both of you. Because I refuse to be the reason one of you doesn't make it. Rylan opened his mouth. I mean it, I said. You find another way, or I walk. I'll reject both of you and take my chances with going rogue. You can't, Kade said. The bond is brand new, weak. I can break it if I have to. I met his eyes. Don't test me. Silence fell. Then, slowly, Rylan smiled. Actually smiled. You really are perfect for us. I'm serious. So am I. Kade shook his head, but something in his expression had softened. We'll find another way. Promise me. I promise, he said. We both do. Rylan nodded. I wanted to believe them. Wanted it so badly it hurt. But promises were easy to make and hard to keep, and I'd already learned that lesson once tonight. We walked the rest of the way in silence, but the air between us had shifted, less hostile, more fragile. Like maybe, just maybe, we could survive this. If we were very, very careful, and very, very lucky. The forest began to thin as we climbed higher into the mountains. My legs burned. The borrowed dress was torn in 3 places now, and the thin fabric did nothing against the cold wind that cut through the trees. I didn't complain. Wouldn't give them the satisfaction. But Rylan noticed anyway. He shrugged out of his jacket without a word and held it out to me. I stared at it. I said no touching. I'm not touching you, he said. I'm offering you a jacket. You're freezing. I'm fine. You're shaking. I was. I couldn't stop. The adrenaline from the gathering was wearing off and exhaustion was setting in, dragging me down with every step. Take it, Kade said from my other side. Pride won't keep you warm. I snatched the jacket from Rylan's hand and pulled it on. It was too big, the sleeves falling past my fingertips, but it was warm, and it smelled like smoke and winter, and something that made my wolf settle just slightly. Better? Rylan asked. I didn't answer. We crested a ridge, and Silver Peak Valley spread out below us. Even in the moonlight, I could see how different it was from my pack's territory. Larger, wilder. The pack house sat at the center like a fortress, all dark stone and tall windows. Smaller cabins dotted the valley floor, smoke rising from chimneys. Home, Kade said quietly. It looked nothing like home to me. It looked cold and isolated and exactly like the kind of place 2 cursed alphas would rule. We descended into the valley. Wolves stopped what they were doing to stare as we passed. I heard whispers, felt their eyes tracking my every move. They know, I said. They know we left to find our mate, Rylan confirmed. They don't know we found 2 bonds instead of 1. Are you going to tell them? Eventually, Kade said, when we understand it ourselves. The pack house loomed larger as we approached. Up close, it was even more imposing. 3 stories of stone and timber, windows dark except for a few scattered lights on the upper floors. Kade pushed open the heavy front door, and warmth rushed out to meet us. I stepped inside and stopped. The entrance hall was massive. A fireplace large enough to stand in dominated one wall, flames crackling behind an iron grate. Wooden beams crisscrossed the ceiling. Thick rugs covered the stone floor. Your room is upstairs, Kade said. 3rd door on the left. There's a bathroom attached. Clean clothes in the dresser. Whose room was it? I asked. He hesitated. No one's. We had it prepared when we realized we might find our mate. Before Iris. The unspoken words hung in the air. I'll show you, Rylan offered. We climbed the stairs in silence. The hallway was lined with doors, all closed. He stopped at the 3rd one and pushed it open. The room was smaller than I expected. A bed with a thick quilt. A dresser. A window overlooking the valley. Simple, clean, safe. If you need anything, Rylan said, we're right across the hall. Of course they were. Thank you, I managed. He nodded and turned to leave, but paused in the doorway. I know you don't trust us yet. I know you're still hurting. But I meant what I said. We'll find another way. What about you? His smile was sad, resigned. I've been dying since the day we were born. 1 more year won't make much difference. Rylan. But he was already gone, pulling the door closed behind him. I stood in the center of the room, wrapped in his jacket, and finally let myself fall apart. The sobs came hard and fast, tearing out of me like they'd been waiting all night. I pressed my hands over my mouth to muffle the sound, but it didn't help. Everything hurt. I cried until there was nothing left, until I was hollow and empty and so tired I could barely stand. Then I stripped off the ruined dress, found a shirt in the dresser, and crawled into bed. Sleep took me under before I could think about how wrong this all was. I woke to shouting. For a confused second, I thought I was back at my old pack house. Then I remembered. The gathering, the rejection, the twins. I sat up, heart racing. Dawn light filtered through the window. The shouting came from downstairs, muffled but angry. I pulled on sweatpants from the dresser and crept to the door, opened it slowly. You can't keep her here against her will. A woman's voice, sharp with authority. We're not keeping her against her will. Kade's voice, controlled but tight. She chose to come. After you cornered her at the gathering. We didn't corner anyone, Rylan said. She made her choice. I moved to the top of the stairs. 3 people stood in the entrance hall. Kade and Rylan faced a woman I didn't recognize. She was older, silver streaking through her dark hair. The council doesn't approve our mates, Kade said coldly. It is when your mate could destabilize 2 territories. I'm the head healer. Let me examine her. Run the bloodline tests, the same ones we ran on Iris. The name hung in the air like a threat. No, Kade said. If you don't verify she can survive a claiming, you're risking another death. I stepped out of the shadows. I'll do it. All 3 of them turned to look at me. Rylan's expression shifted immediately. You don't have to. Yes, I do, I said, descending the stairs. If there's a way to know whether I'll survive this, I want to know. The healer's eyes narrowed. Smart girl. When? I asked. Now. Kade moved between us. Give her time to eat, to rest. The sooner we know, the sooner we can plan. It's fine, I said quietly. Let's just get it over with. The healer led me to a room off the main hall, shelves lined with jars and bottles, a large table in the center, the smell of herbs and something medicinal. Sit, she said. I sat. She pulled out a small knife and a glass vial. I need your blood. Not much. Just enough to read your lineage. I'm Maya. Lena. I know. She took my hand. This will sting. She pressed the knife to my palm. Blood welled up and she collected it in the vial. The moment my blood hit the glass, it began to glow. Faint at first, then brighter. Gold and silver threads swirled through the red. Maya's expression changed. Went from skeptical to shocked. What? I asked. What is it? She didn't answer. Just stared at the vial. Maya, I pressed. What's wrong? She looked up at me slowly. Her face had gone pale. Where are your parents from? I don't know. They died when I was 8. Do you know anything about your bloodline? No, nothing. Maya set the vial down carefully. I need to get the twins. Why? What did you see? Something impossible, she said quietly. She left before I could ask anything else. The door opened. Kade and Rylan entered. Maya followed, carrying an old book. She opened it, flipped through pages, and stopped on one. A family tree, names stretching back centuries. At the top, circled in red, was a name, Thorn. I'd heard it before, in stories my uncle used to tell when he was drunk and angry. No, I said. Maya nodded. The last wolf witch bloodline, the one that was supposed to be extinct. Your blood doesn't lie. Kade and Rylan had gone completely still. The Thorn line cursed our family, Kade said slowly. Yes, Maya confirmed. Rylan's chair hit the floor. You're saying our mate is descended from the witch who destroyed us? Maya looked at me. Your mate is the only person alive who carries the blood that created the curse, which means she might be the only person who can break it. The room went silent. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think past the roaring in my ears. Thorn. The name echoed in my skull like a death sentence. That's impossible, I whispered. My uncle said they were just stories, warnings to keep me in line. What kind of warnings? Maya asked. I wrapped my arms around myself. That I came from bad blood. That my family was cursed. That I should be grateful he took me in after my parents died because no one else would want me. Kade's expression darkened. He knew. Knew what? What you were, Rylan said. His voice was tight, controlled, but I heard the anger underneath. He knew your bloodline, and he hid it. Why would he hide it? Maya closed the book slowly. Because your family has been hunted for 3 decades, since the curse was cast. The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. Our father, Kade said quietly, spent years tracking down every remaining member of the Thorn bloodline. He believed killing them would break the curse. Did it work? I already knew the answer. No, Rylan said. It just made him more desperate, more violent. How many? My voice cracked. How many did he kill? Kade and Rylan exchanged a look. We don't know, Kade admitted. He kept records, but he burned them before he died. All we know is that by the time we were 10, he declared the Thorn line extinct. But it wasn't, Maya said. Your parents survived, went into hiding, changed their names, and when they died, your uncle continued the deception. To protect me, I said slowly. He was protecting me from you. The words hung between us like broken glass. Rylan flinched. We wouldn't have hurt you. Your father would have, I shot back. And you just said you don't know how many of my family he murdered, so forgive me if I don't find that reassuring. He's dead, Kade said. He can't hurt you now. But you can. I stood up, the chair scraping against the floor. You claimed me, dragged me here, and now I find out my bloodline is the reason you're cursed in the first place. We didn't know, Rylan said. Does it matter? My voice rose. Your father slaughtered my family. And now you want me to what? Fix the mess my ancestors made? Break a curse I didn't even know existed until yesterday? Yes, Maya said simply. I turned on her. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. She gestured to the vial still glowing faintly on the table. That light means your blood carries active magic, wolf witch magic, the same magic that created the curse binding them. I don't know anything about magic. That doesn't mean it's not there. Maya picked up the vial, holding it to the light. The Thorn witches were the most powerful bloodline in the Northern Territories. They could manipulate bonds, curses, even death itself. Your ancestor used that power to destroy the twins' father. Good, I said coldly. He deserved it. Kade's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. Maybe he did, Maya agreed. But his sons didn't, and neither did Iris, or the dozen other she-wolves who died trying to break this curse over the years. The number hit me like a physical blow. Dozen? The curse doesn't just affect the twins, Maya said. It affects anyone who tries to bond with them. Iris was the only one who made it far enough for a claiming attempt. The others died before we even knew they were false mates. How? Their bodies rejected the bond before it fully formed. Internal bleeding, organ failure. One just stopped breathing in her sleep. Maya set the vial down. The curse protects itself. It doesn't want to be broken. Then how am I supposed to break it? We don't know yet, Maya admitted. But your blood is the key. It has to be. I looked at Kade and Rylan. They stood frozen, watching me like I might bolt at any second. Maybe I should. You lied to me, I said. We didn't lie, Kade said carefully. We didn't know about your bloodline. But you knew about the others, the dozen dead she-wolves. You knew and you didn't tell me. Rylan's expression cracked. We were going to. When? After I was already dead? We would never let that happen. You can't promise that. I backed toward the door. You don't even know which of you is my real mate. How are you supposed to keep me alive when you can't even figure that out? Because we'll die before we let the curse take you, Kade said. His voice was absolute. Final. That's not good enough. I turned and walked out. Lena, wait. I didn't wait. I ran. Through the entrance hall, out the front door, into the cold morning air. My bare feet hit frozen ground, and I didn't care. I just needed space, needed air, needed to think without their sense drowning me, without their eyes watching every move. I made it to the tree line before Rylan caught up. Stop, he said. Please. I whirled on him. Why should I? Because running won't change what you are, won't change what we are. I know that. Tears burned hot down my face. I know I can't run from this, but I need 5 minutes without you standing over me, waiting for me to fix a curse I didn't create. We're not asking you to fix it alone, aren't you? I wrapped my arms around myself. Maya just told me I'm the key, that my blood is the answer. What happens if it's not? What happens if I can't break it? Then we find another way. There is no other way. My voice broke. One of you claims me and the other dies. That's how this ends. That's how it's always ended. Rylan stepped closer, not touching, but close enough that I felt his warmth. My whole life, I've known I was half a person, that somewhere out there was the other half, and finding her would mean losing my brother. I've made peace with that. I haven't. I know, his voice gentled. And I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking you to let us try. Let Maya research your bloodline. Let us find out if there's something we missed. And if there isn't? He was quiet for a long moment. Then you choose, Kade or me, and whoever you don't choose walks away with the time they have left. That's not a choice. That's a nightmare. It's the only choice we have. I sank down onto the frozen ground, my legs giving out. Rylan sat beside me, careful to keep space between us. We sat in silence as the sun climbed higher, burning off the frost. Finally I spoke. Tell me about the witch, the one who started this. Rylan's shoulders tensed. Her name was Mara Thorne. She was the last surviving wolf witch after our father destroyed her pack. Why did he destroy them? Territory, resources, power. He paused. The official story was that the Thorn pack was practicing dark magic, threatening the balance. But the truth is, our father wanted their land and he was willing to slaughter anyone who stood in his way. Including pregnant women? His head snapped toward me. How did you know? Maya said Mara was the last surviving witch. But if I'm her descendant, she couldn't have been the last. Understanding dawned in his eyes. She was pregnant when she died, and somehow the baby survived. Your grandmother, Rylan said slowly, or great-grandmother, depending on how many generations. I did the math in my head. The curse was cast 30 years ago. If Mara's child survived, grew up, had children of their own. My mother, I whispered. She would have been the right age. Did she have magic? I don't know. She died when I was 8. I barely remember her. I picked at the frozen grass. My uncle used to say she was dangerous, that she had a temper that could burn the world down. I thought he was being dramatic. Maybe he wasn't. We sat with that for a moment. The curse, I said. How exactly did Mara cast it? Blood magic, Rylan said. She cut herself open, used her own life force to bind the curse to our bloodline. Maya found the records in our father's study after he died. Mara's last words were recorded by a witness. What did she say? His voice went quiet, haunted. Your heir will be born split, one soul, 2 bodies, forever incomplete. Only my bloodline can heal them, but only through sacrifice. One son will live, one will die, and my blood will decide which. The words settled over me like snow, cold, inevitable. She wanted revenge, I said. She got it. By condemning her own descendants. Anger flared hot in my chest. She cursed you, but she cursed me too. Every generation of Thorn women has carried this weight without knowing it. Not just the women, Rylan said. Your father, your grandparents. Everyone who came after Mara died carrying a curse they couldn't see. Until me. Until you. I looked at him. Really looked. At the exhaustion carved into his face, the resignation in his eyes. He'd lived his entire life knowing he was dying, knowing that happiness meant his brother's death or his own. I'm sorry, I said, for what my ancestor did to you. I'm sorry for what my father did to yours. We sat in the cold, two people bound by blood and curses and choices neither of us made. Finally, I stood. I'll stay. I'll let Maya run her tests. I'll try to break this thing. Rylan rose beside me. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I met his eyes. Because if I can't break it, I'm not choosing. I won't be responsible for killing either of you. Then we'll both die. Better than living with that choice. He smiled. Sad. Resigned. You really are perfect for us. Stop saying that. Can't help it. He gestured back toward the pack house. Come on, Maya will want to start immediately. We walked back in silence. Kade was waiting on the front steps, his expression unreadable. She's staying, Rylan said. Kade's shoulders dropped slightly. Relief. Good. I stopped in front of them both. But we do this my way. No more secrets. No more lies. If there's something I need to know, you tell me. Immediately. Deal, Kade said. And if we can't break the curse, I walk. You don't follow. You don't stop me. You let me go. No, both of them said at once. That's the deal, I said firmly. Take it or I leave now. They exchanged a long look. Fine, Kade said finally, but it won't come to that. You don't know that. No, he agreed, but I have to believe it. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point? The question echoed in my head as we went back inside, as Maya pulled out more books and vials and ancient texts. What was the point of fighting a curse that had already killed dozens, of hoping for a future that might not exist? But as I sat between Kade and Rylan, feeling their presence like gravity, I realized the answer. The point was them. The point was trying, even if it killed me. Maya spread the ancient texts across the table, her fingers tracing symbols I didn't recognize. The thorn magic works through blood bonds. That's why your ancestor could curse their bloodline so effectively. So how do I break it? I asked. That's what we need to figure out. She looked up at me. But first, we need to understand the bond itself. Which of them your wolf truly recognizes? Both, I said. I feel both. That's impossible. And yet here we are. Maya frowned, studying the texts again. There has to be something we're missing. Some detail in the original curse that explains why you feel pulled to both. Kade leaned forward. What if it's not about which one is right? What if the curse designed it this way? Explain, Maya said. Mara wanted revenge. She wanted us to suffer. What better suffering than finding our mate and not knowing which of us gets to keep her? Rylan's hands clenched. That's sick. That's revenge, Kade said quietly. I stood up, unable to sit still any longer. So what do we do? Just guess and hope I don't die? No, Maya said firmly. We research. We test. We find a way to identify the true bond before anyone attempts a claiming. How long will that take? She didn't answer immediately. That was answer enough. We don't have long, Rylan said. His voice was strained. Every day that passes, our wolves get harder to control. Eventually one of us will snap. Then we work fast, Maya said. She gathered the books. I need to consult with the elders. See if anyone remembers stories about the thorn witches that aren't in these texts. She left, and silence settled over the room like dust. I walked to the window. Dawn had fully broken now, painting the valley in shades of gold and pink. It was beautiful, peaceful, everything my life wasn't. I can hear you thinking, Kade said from behind me. Good. Maybe you can explain it to me because I don't understand any of this. What don't you understand? I turned to face them. Why me? Out of all the she-wolves in all the territories, why did your wolves choose me? A low-ranking orphan with cursed blood? Because you're strong enough, Rylan said simply. I'm not strong. I'm terrified. Strength isn't the absence of fear, Kade said. It's moving forward despite it. You're here. You're trying. That's strength. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I blinked them back. I don't feel strong. I feel broken. You were rejected by your mate less than 24 hours ago, Rylan said gently. You're allowed to feel broken. Does it get easier? The question slipped out before I could stop it. The rejection pain? Yes, Kade said. Eventually. How long did it take you? They both went still. What? I asked. We've never been rejected, Kade said carefully. We've never had a mate before you. But you said, Iris. Was a mistake, Rylan finished. Our wolves thought she was ours, but the bond never fully formed. What you're feeling with Jax, that severed bond, we've never experienced that. The admission hung in the air. I'm sorry, I whispered. I didn't mean to bring up something painful. It's not painful, Kade said. It's just true. We've spent 30 years looking for you, and now that we've found you, we're not letting go. Even if it kills one of you? Even then. I wanted to argue, wanted to tell them how insane that was. But the look in their eyes stopped me. They meant it. They would die for me. For this bond we barely understood. I need air, I said. I'll come with you, Rylan offered. No. I softened my tone. Please, I just need a few minutes alone. He looked like he wanted to argue, but Kade put a hand on his shoulder. Let her go. I slipped out before either of them could change their minds. The pack house had started to wake up. Wolves moved through the halls, heading toward what smelled like a communal kitchen. They stared as I passed, but no one spoke to me. I found a side door and stepped out into the cold morning air. The valley was even more beautiful in full daylight. Pine trees stretched toward a pale blue sky. Snow dusted the peaks in the distance. It was quiet here, peaceful. I walked until I found a small creek, partially frozen, water trickling beneath the ice. Sat down on a fallen log and finally let myself breathe. Everything hurt. The rejection wound in my chest throbbed with every heartbeat. The twin bonds pulled in opposite directions, creating a tension I didn't know how to ease. And underneath it all, the knowledge that I was descended from the witch who'd cursed them. How was I supposed to fix this? I thought you might be here. I jumped, turning to find Kade standing a few feet away. I said I wanted to be alone. I know. But Rylan's wolf is going crazy, and if one of us didn't check on you, he was going to shift and track you himself. Kade moved closer, his steps careful. I drew the short straw. Despite everything, I almost smiled. Some alpha you are, taking orders from your brother. He's not just my brother. He's half my soul. If he hurts, I hurt. The honesty in his voice caught me off guard. Does it work both ways? I asked. Yes. So right now he's feeling what you feel? To a degree. It's not exact, but close enough. I process that. Then he knows I'm upset. He knows you're in pain. We both do. Kade sat down on the log beside me, leaving space between us. Your wolf is broadcasting it like a beacon. I don't know how to turn it off. You don't have to. Not with us. We sat in silence, watching the water move beneath the ice. Can I ask you something? I said finally. Anything. The she-wolf who died. Iris. Did you love her? Kade was quiet for a long moment. I thought I did. We both did. She was kind, gentle, everything we thought we needed. But the bond never felt right. It was like trying to force two pieces together that almost fit but not quite. He paused. With you, it's different. Even with all the chaos and confusion, the bond feels inevitable, like it was always supposed to be this way. Even though I'm descended from the witch who cursed you? Especially because of that. He turned to look at me. Don't you see? You're the only one who can end this. Not just break the curse, but actually free us. What if I can't? Then at least we tried. His hand moved like he was going to reach for me, then stopped. Can I touch you? Just your hand. I won't push for more. I should have said no, should have maintained the boundaries I'd set, but I was so tired of being alone. Okay, I whispered. His hand covered mine, warm, steady. The moment our skin connected, something inside me settled. The twin pulls didn't disappear, but they aligned, like two notes finding harmony. I gasped. You feel it too, Kade said. Not a question. Yes. His thumb brushed across my knuckles. This is what it should feel like. What the bond is supposed to be. But you said Rylan feels what you feel. Won't this hurt him? Probably, but he'd rather hurt than have you suffer alone. Tears spilled over before I could stop them. I don't understand how you can both be so ready to sacrifice everything for me. You barely know me. Our wolves know you. That's enough. It shouldn't be. Maybe not, but it is. We sat like that, hands connected, while the sun climbed higher and the ice began to melt. Lena, Kade said quietly. I need to tell you something. Dread pooled in my stomach. What? We're running out of time, faster than we thought. His jaw tightened. Rylan's wolf is starting to fracture. The longer we wait to complete a bond, the more dangerous he becomes. How long do we have? Days, maybe a week. That's not enough time for Maya to find answers. I know. I pulled my hand away. So what are you saying? That we just guess and hope for the best? I'm saying we might not have a choice. He met my eyes. If we wait too long, Rylan will go feral. And if that happens, the pack will have to put him down. The words hit me like a slap. No. It's pack law. We can't risk. No. I stood up, rage flooding through me. You don't get to tell me we're running out of time after you promised we'd find another way. I'm trying to be honest with you. You're trying to push me into a decision before I'm ready. I backed away from him. I won't do it. I won't choose which of you dies just because we're on a deadline. Then what do you want to do? I want more time. I want Maya to find answers. My voice broke. I want this to not be happening. Kade stood, his expression pained. So do I, but wanting doesn't change reality. Then maybe I should just leave. Walk away before anyone else gets hurt. You can't. The bond. I can break the bond. It's new. Weak. I could sever it and... He moved fast, closing the distance between us. Not touching, but close enough that I felt the heat radiating off him. Don't, he said, his voice rough. Don't even think about it. Severing the bond won't save us. It'll just kill us slower. At least you'd both survive. Survival isn't living. Not without you. The intensity in his eyes stole my breath. Kade, I know you're scared. I know this is too much too fast. But please, don't run from this. Don't run from us. I don't know how to stay. Then let me show you. His hand came up slowly, giving me time to pull away. When I didn't, he cupped my face, his thumb brushing away tears I didn't know were falling. One chance, he whispered. Let me prove this bond is real, that it's worth fighting for. How? Trust me. And before I could answer, before I could think, he leaned down and kissed me. The world stopped. His lips were warm against mine, gentle despite the desperation I felt thrumming through him. The bond between us flared to life, burning through my chest like wildfire. For one perfect second, everything made sense. Then pain exploded behind my ribs. Not from Kade, from the other bond, the one connected to Rylan. I gasped and pulled back. Kade's eyes had gone gold, his breathing ragged. What's wrong? He asked. Rylan, I managed. He felt it. The bond. It's hurting him. Kade's expression shifted from desire to horror in a heartbeat. We need to get back. We ran. The pack house came into view and I heard the screaming before we reached the door. Not human screaming, wolf screaming. Kade burst through the entrance and I followed, my heart in my throat. The main hall had been destroyed. Furniture overturned, claw marks gouged into the wooden floor, and in the center of the chaos stood Rylan. Except it wasn't Rylan anymore. His eyes were pure gold, no whites showing. His body was halfway between human and wolf, bones jutting at wrong angles, fur rippling beneath skin that couldn't decide what form to take. Blood dripped from his hands where claws had burst through his fingertips. Maya stood across from him, her hands raised. Rylan, you need to breathe. Focus on my voice. He snarled at her. What happened? Kade demanded. The bond, Maya said without looking away from Rylan. When you kissed her, his wolf felt it as a claiming attempt. It's tearing him apart. Horror crashed through me. I didn't know. We didn't mean... Rylan's head snapped toward me, his lips pulled back from elongated teeth. Don't look at him, Maya commanded. You're making it worse. But I couldn't look away. This was my fault, my choice, my kiss. Rylan, I whispered. I'm sorry. He took a step toward me. Then another. His movements were jerky, wrong, like his body didn't remember how to walk. Kade moved between us instantly. Brother, you need to fight this. Rylan's snarl turned into words. Barely. You kissed her. I'm sorry, Kade said. I wasn't thinking. You claimed what's mine. She's ours, both of ours, remember? But Rylan wasn't listening anymore. His wolf had taken over completely, rational thought buried beneath instinct and rage. He lunged. Kade caught him mid-air, and they went down in a tangle of limbs and fury. The sound of their fight was terrible. Bone on bone, snarls and snaps, brothers trying to kill each other. Stop them, I begged Maya. I can't. This has to run its course. They'll kill each other. Maybe. Or maybe Rylan's wolf will exhaust itself and he'll shift back. She grabbed my arm. But you need to leave. Now. Your presence is making him more unstable. I can't just abandon them. You're not abandoning them. You're giving Rylan space to come back to himself. Her grip tightened. Trust me. She pulled me toward the hallway as Kade and Rylan crashed into the wall hard enough to crack the stone. I let her drag me up the stairs, into my room. She shut the door and locked it. Stay here, she ordered. Don't come out until I tell you it's safe. Then she was gone, and I was alone with the sounds of violence echoing from below. I pressed my hands over my ears, but it didn't help. Every crash, every snarl, every cry of pain went straight through me. This was my fault. I'd let Kade kiss me, let the bond flare between us. And now Rylan was paying the price. The fighting went on for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. Then silence. Terrible, complete silence. I moved to the door, pressed my ear against it, heard nothing. Slowly, I turned the lock. Opened the door a crack. The hallway was empty. I crept toward the stairs, my heart hammering so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. The main hall was destroyed. Blood spattered across the floor, furniture reduced to splinters. And in the center of it all, Kade knelt beside Rylan's unconscious form. Is he? I couldn't finish the question. Alive, Kade said. His voice was hollow. Barely. I moved closer. Rylan had shifted back to human, but the damage was obvious. Bruises bloomed across his skin. Blood leaked from a cut above his eye. His breathing was shallow, labored, but worse than the physical injuries was his scent. It smelled wrong, faded, like something dying. What's happening to him? I whispered. Maya appeared from a side room carrying bandages and vials. The curse is accelerating. When you and Kade created that bond spike, Rylan's body interpreted it as a claiming. The curse activated. But Kade didn't claim me. It was just a kiss. It doesn't matter. The magic doesn't understand intent, only action. She knelt beside Rylan, examining his wounds. He has maybe 3 days before his body shuts down completely. 3 days. The number echoed in my head like a death knell. Can you stop it? Kade asked. No. Only a true claiming can halt the progression now. Maya looked at me. You have to choose. Tonight. Or he dies. I don't know which one is right, I said desperately. What if I choose wrong? What if I kill him like I killed Iris? You didn't kill Iris, Maya said firmly. The curse killed Iris. But yes, if you choose wrong, the same thing will happen. Then I can't choose. You have to. No, I backed away. There has to be another option, some other way to stop this. There isn't, Maya's voice gentled slightly. I've spent the last 6 hours going through every text, every record, every story about the Thorn bloodline. There's no loophole, no escape clause. You choose one or you lose both. The words hit me like a physical blow. Kade stood slowly. Blood dripped from a cut on his arm, but he didn't seem to notice. Then she chooses me. What? I stared at him. No, I'm not. It's the logical choice, he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. I'm stronger, more controlled. The claiming is less likely to go wrong with me. You don't know that. I do. He looked down at Rylan. My brother has always been the emotional one, the one who feels everything too deeply. That's why his wolf fractured first. But me? He met my eyes. I can handle the claiming. I can keep you alive. Kade, stop. I'm not asking, Lena. I'm telling you. Tomorrow night, when Rylan is stable enough to understand, you're going to let me claim you, and he's going to accept it. He'll die. In 3 days, yes, but he'll die knowing you're safe. That's all he's ever wanted. Rage flooded through me. You don't get to make this decision for him. For either of us. Someone has to. His control finally cracked. Because you're too terrified to choose and he's too selfless to fight for himself. So I'm choosing. For all of us. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. He moved closer. But I'll be damned if I let you both die because we couldn't make the hard choice. What if you're wrong? My voice broke. What if you're not my true mate and I die screaming like Iris did? Then at least Rylan survives. One of us makes it out of this alive. I don't want one of you. I want both. You can't have both, he said quietly. That was never an option. Tears streamed down my face. I hate this. I hate all of this. I know. He reached out like he was going to touch me, then stopped. But hating it won't change it. We're out of time. Maya stood, wiping blood from her hands. He's right. If you're going to attempt a claiming, it needs to be soon, before Rylan's condition deteriorates further. And if I refuse? I asked. If I just walk away and let the curse take both of them? Then you'll carry that guilt for the rest of your life, Maya said bluntly, and 2 good men will die for nothing. I looked at Rylan's unconscious form, at Kade standing over him like a guardian, at Maya with her clinical acceptance of impossible choices. I need time to think, I whispered. You have until tomorrow night, Kade said. After that, I'm claiming you whether you agree or not. The threat hung in the air between us. You wouldn't, I said. His expression was absolute. Try me. I turned and ran. Up the stairs, into my room, slamming the door behind me. I collapsed against it, sliding down until I sat on the floor, knees pulled to my chest. Tomorrow night. One choice. Two men. One would live, one would die, and I was the one who had to decide which. The bond in my chest pulled in two directions, splitting me down the middle. Kade's kiss still burned on my lips. Rylan's screams still echoed in my ears. I pressed my hands over my face and finally let myself break. Because there was no good choice. No right answer. Only blood and sacrifice and the weight of a curse I never asked for. Outside my door, I heard footsteps. Kade's voice, low and rough. I'll keep watch. Make sure she doesn't run. Tomorrow night, everything would change. And I still had no idea how to survive it. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Rylan's broken body, heard Kade's voice declaring he'd claim me whether I agreed or not, felt the weight of a choice I wasn't ready to make. Dawn came too fast. Light filtered through the window, pale and cold. I dragged myself off the floor, my body aching from a night spent curled against the door. A knock startled me. Lena, Maya's voice. I'm coming in. The door opened and she stepped inside, carrying a tray. Bread, eggs, coffee that smelled like heaven. You need to eat, she said. I'm not hungry. I don't care. She set the tray on the dresser. You're going through a claiming tonight. If you do it on an empty stomach, you'll be even more likely to die. The bluntness made me flinch. Has Rylan woken up? An hour ago. He's stable for now. She studied me. He wants to see you. Does Kade know? Kade is the one who sent me. I blinked. He's letting me see Rylan? I thought he'd lock me in here until tonight. He considered it, Maya admitted. But Rylan convinced him you deserved a chance to say goodbye. Goodbye. The word carved through me like a blade. I don't want to say goodbye to either of them, I whispered. Then find another way. Maya moved toward the door. You have 12 hours. Use them wisely. She left, and I was alone again with the impossible. I forced myself to eat. The food tasted like ash, but I choked it down anyway. Then I dressed in clean clothes from the dresser and went to find Rylan. He was in a room on the second floor. The door was open. Inside, he sat on the edge of the bed, shirtless, bandages wrapped around his ribs. He looked up when I entered. His eyes were still gold, but clearer than last night. More human. Hey, he said quietly. Hey. I stayed in the doorway. How are you feeling? Like I got hit by a truck. He tried to smile, but it came out pained. Kade doesn't pull his punches. He was trying to save you. I know. He gestured to the chair beside the bed. Will you sit, please? I crossed the room slowly and sat. The bond between us hummed, weaker than before, but still there. I'm sorry, I said. For what happened. For the kiss. I didn't know it would. Don't apologize. His voice was firm. You didn't do anything wrong. My wolf just couldn't handle feeling the bond activate without me. Maya said the curse is accelerating, that you have 3 days. Less now, maybe 2. He reached out like he was going to take my hand, then stopped. Can I touch you? I just need to know you're real. I gave him my hand. His fingers closed around mine, warm and solid. The bond settled slightly, the pull aligning. There, he breathed. That's better. We sat in silence for a long moment. Kade told me his plan, Rylan said finally, that he's going to claim you tonight. I didn't agree to it. I know. But he's right. He met my eyes. It should be him. Don't, I said. Don't do what he's doing. Don't make this decision for me. I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth. His thumb brushed across my knuckles. Kade is stronger, more controlled. He has a better chance of surviving the claiming without hurting you. You don't know that. Yes, I do. I felt what happened yesterday when he kissed you. My wolf went insane. If that happens during a claiming, I could kill you before the bond even forms. Or you could be my true mate, and everything would be fine. And if I'm not? His voice cracked. If I claim you and you die, screaming like Iris did, how am I supposed to live with that, even for 2 days? I pulled my hand away. So you're just giving up? Deciding you're not worth fighting for? I'm deciding you're worth more than a coin flip. That's not your choice to make. Then whose choice is it? He stood, wincing at the movement. Because from where I'm standing, you're too afraid to choose at all, and I don't blame you. This is an impossible situation. But someone has to make the call, and Kade's willing to shoulder that burden. By forcing me into a claiming I'm not ready for? By making sure you survive. Rylan moved closer, his expression raw. I've loved you since the second I caught your scent. Every instinct I have is screaming at me to fight for you, to claim you, to make you mine. But I love you too much to risk your life on a maybe. The confession hung between us like smoke. You don't love me, I whispered. You don't even know me. My wolf knows you. And that's enough for me. He cupped my face gently. So please, let Kade claim you. Let one of us make it out of this alive. What about you? I'll have 2 days, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. I'll spend them making sure you're safe, that the pack accepts you, that Kade doesn't spiral into guilt after I'm gone. His smile was devastating. And then I'll go quietly. No drama, no fighting, just peace. There's nothing peaceful about watching you die. Then don't watch. He leaned down, pressed his forehead to mine. Let me do this one thing right. Let me save you, even if I can't save myself. Tears burned down my face. I hate this. I hate that you're giving up, that Kade's being controlling, that I'm stuck in the middle watching everything fall apart. I know. His breath was warm against my skin, but this is the hand we were dealt. We just have to play it the best we can. By sacrificing you? By keeping you alive. He pulled back, his eyes searching mine. Promise me something. What? Promise me you'll be happy, after I'm gone. Promise me you'll let Kade love you the way you deserve. Rylan, promise me. I couldn't speak, could barely breathe past the grief crushing my chest. Okay, I finally whispered. I promise. He smiled, real and genuine despite everything. Good. Then he kissed my forehead and stepped back. You should go. Kade will want to see you before tonight. I wanted to argue, wanted to scream that this wasn't fair, that there had to be another way. But the exhaustion in Rylan's eyes told me he'd already made peace with this, and maybe that was the cruelest part of all. I left the room, my heart in pieces. Kade was waiting in the hallway. He looked like he hadn't slept either. Dark circles shadowed his eyes and tension lined his shoulders. How is he? He asked. Dying, I said flatly, and accepting it like it's inevitable. It is inevitable, unless you let me change it. I turned on him. You mean unless I let you force a claiming I'm not ready for? You'll never be ready, he said quietly. This isn't something you can prepare for. It's a leap of faith. Faith that you're my true mate? Faith that I won't die screaming? Faith that your brother's sacrifice will mean something? My voice rose. I don't have that kind of faith. Kade, then borrow mine. He moved closer. I have enough faith for both of us. Enough belief that this will work, that we'll survive, that Rylan's choice won't be in vain. And if you're wrong, then I'll spend whatever time I have left making sure Rylan knows he was loved. His expression cracked. But I'm not wrong. Every instinct I have says you're mine, that this bond is real, that we can survive this if you just trust me. Trust you? I laughed bitterly. You're threatening to claim me against my will. How is that trust? It's not a threat. It's a promise. His voice hardened. Because I'm not watching you die from indecision. I'm not letting Rylan's sacrifice be meaningless. And I'm sure as hell not letting this curse win. Even if it means taking my choice away? Even then. The honesty of it stole my breath. I hate you, I whispered. I know. He reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. But you'll forgive me. Eventually, when you're alive and safe, and Rylan's memory is honored instead of wasted. You're so sure of yourself. I have to be. One of us needs to be strong enough to make the hard calls. His hand dropped. Tonight, after sunset. The claiming happens. Be ready. He walked away, leaving me standing in the hallway with 12 hours until everything changed. I spent the day alone, avoided everyone, sat in my room and stared at the window, watching the sun arc across the sky. Watching time run out, Maya brought me food I didn't eat, brought me water I didn't drink, brought me ceremonial clothes I didn't want to see. White, she said quietly. For new beginnings. Or funerals, I thought but didn't say. The sun touched the horizon. Kade knocked on my door. It's time, he said. I stood on shaking legs and followed him downstairs. The pack had gathered in the main hall. Wolves lined the walls, silent and watchful. In the center stood a ceremonial circle drawn in ash and salt, and beside it stood Rylan, barely upright, his face pale but determined. Our eyes met across the room. He smiled. I broke. Kade's hand closed around mine, steady and sure. I've got you, he said. And I realized with terrible clarity that I was out of time, out of options, out of choices. Tonight, one of them would claim me. And tomorrow, one of them would start dying. Kade led me toward the circle. My legs moved on instinct, numb and disconnected from my body. The pack watched in silence, their eyes tracking every step. Maya stood at the edge of the circle, her expression grave. The claiming ritual will bind your soul to one of theirs. There's no going back once it begins. I know, I whispered. Rylan stepped forward. He looked worse than this morning. His skin had gone gray, his movements slow and careful, like every breath hurt. You don't have to do this, I said to him. You don't have to watch. Yes, I do. His voice was soft but firm. I need to see you safe before I go. Rylan, it's okay. He reached out, his hand hovering near my face but not touching. I made my peace with this a long time ago. Kade's grip on my hand tightened. We should begin. Maya nodded. Lena, step into the circle. I moved forward, crossing the line of salt and ash. The moment my feet touched the center, power hummed through the air. Ancient, waiting. Kade, Maya said. Enter the circle. He stepped in beside me, his presence solid and warm. Rylan stayed outside, his eyes never leaving mine. Maya began to chant in a language I didn't recognize. The words felt heavy, weighted with magic that made my skin prickle. Kade turned to face me. His eyes were gold, his wolf close to the surface. I'm going to make this as gentle as I can, he said quietly. But it's still going to hurt. I know. He lifted his hand to my neck, his thumb brushing over the spot where he would bite, where the claiming mark would form. My pulse hammered beneath his touch. Close your eyes, he said. I did. His breath was warm against my skin. I felt his lips brush the curve of my neck, soft and careful. Then his teeth. Pain exploded through me, white-hot and all-consuming. The bond between us ignited, burning through every nerve. I screamed, but couldn't hear it over the roaring in my ears. Kade's arms wrapped around me, holding me upright as my legs gave out. The pain shifted, changed, became something else. Heat, connection, a thread of gold weaving between us, pulling tight. For one perfect second, I felt complete. Then agony ripped through my chest from a different direction. The other bond, the one connected to Rylan, it was tearing apart. I opened my eyes and saw him across the circle, on his knees, his hands pressed to his chest. His mouth was open in a silent scream. No, I gasped. Kade, stop, it's killing him. It's the curse, Maya said. The unclaimed bond is severing. Make it stop. I can't. This is what happens. This is what it means. Rylan collapsed completely, his body convulsing. Blood leaked from his nose, his ears. Rylan! I tried to pull away from Kade, but his arms were iron around me. You can't help him, he said roughly. The claiming has to complete, or we both die. I don't care. Let me go. No. The bond between Kade and me pulled tighter, sealing into place. I felt it lock, felt the mark burn into my skin, and across the circle, Rylan went still. Too still. No, I whispered. No, no, no. Maya rushed to his side, her hands glowing with healing magic. She pressed them to his chest, her expression tight with concentration. Is he breathing? Kade demanded. Barely. Maya's magic pulsed brighter. The curse is shutting down his body faster than I expected. He has hours, not days. The words hit me like a physical blow. Hours. Kade had claimed me, and now Rylan had hours to live. Let me go to him, I said. Please. Kade released me slowly. I stumbled out of the circle and fell to my knees beside Rylan. His eyes were closed, his skin was cold. The bond between us was gone, severed completely, leaving a hollow ache where it used to be. Rylan, I touched his face. Stay with me, please. His eyes cracked open. Gold had faded to brown, human and tired. Did it work? He asked. His voice was barely a whisper. Yes, the bond is complete. Good. A weak smile. Then it was worth it. Don't say that. Don't act like dying is worth anything. It is if you live. His hand found mine, his grip weak. Promise me you'll be happy. I already promised. Promise again. Tears blurred my vision. I promise. He closed his eyes. Thank you. His hand went slack in mine. No, I shook him. Rylan, wake up. You don't get to leave yet. We have hours. You said hours. Maya pulled me back gently. Let me work. She poured everything she had into him. Magic blazed so bright I had to look away. The pack watched in silence as their healer fought death itself. But I could feel it. Could feel him slipping away. Kade knelt beside me, his expression shattered. "Brother," he said hoarsely, "don't leave me, not yet." Rylan's chest rose, fell, rose again, slower. "There has to be something," I said desperately. "Some way to save him. Maya, please." "I'm trying." Sweat dripped down her face. "But the curse is too strong. It's in his blood, his bones. I can't fight it." "What about my blood?" The words tumbled out. "You said I carry the thorn magic, that I might be able to break the curse. Let me try." "You don't know how to use your magic." "Then teach me." "Quickly." Maya hesitated, then nodded. "Give me your hand." I held out my hand. She pulled a knife from her belt and cut across my palm. Blood welled up, glowing faintly gold and silver. "Focus on the bond you had with him," she instructed. "Even though it's severed, there's still a trace. Find it, pull on it." I closed my eyes and searched inside myself. Past the new bond with Kade, past the rejection wound from Jax, down to the hollow space where Rylan used to be. There, a thread, thin and fraying but still there. I grabbed it and pulled. Power surged through me, wild and untamed. The thorn magic in my blood woke up, responding to my desperation. I pressed my bleeding hand to Rylan's chest. "Live," I commanded. "Break the curse. Let him live." Magic poured out of me in a flood. Gold and silver light blazed between us, so bright the pack had to shield their eyes. The curse fought back. I felt it, a dark, twisted thing wrapped around Rylan's heart. It didn't want to let go. "You don't get him," I said through gritted teeth. "He's mine. Both of them are mine. And I'm taking him back." The magic flared brighter, hotter. The curse screamed, and then it shattered. The backlash threw me backward. Kade caught me before I hit the ground. "Lena," he said urgently, "are you okay?" I couldn't answer. Couldn't see past the spots dancing in my vision. "Maya," Kade's voice was sharp with panic. "What happened?" "She broke it," Maya said. Wonder filled her voice. "She actually broke the curse." The world slowly came back into focus. Rylan was sitting up, his hand pressed to his chest. His eyes were clear, his color returning. "What?" He looked at me. "What did you do?" "Saved you," I managed. "Both of you." "The curse," Kade said slowly. "It's gone. I can feel it. The weight that's been there my whole life. It's gone." Rylan touched his own chest, his expression awed. "I don't feel like I'm dying anymore." Maya laughed. Actually laughed. "You're not." She severed the curse completely. "You're both free." The pack erupted. Voices rose in celebration, in shock, in joy. But all I could focus on was the two men in front of me. "So we all survive?" I asked. "We all survive," Kade confirmed. "But the bond," Rylan said. "I felt it break. You're claimed by Kade now." "Yes." The mark on my neck still burned. "So I lost you anyway." Pain flickered across his face. "No," I said firmly. "You didn't lose me, neither of you did." "I don't understand." I looked between them. "The curse is broken. The rule about only one mate dies with it. Right, Maya?" Maya's eyes widened. "Theoretically, yes. But that would mean that both bonds could exist," I finished. "That I could be bound to both of them." "That's impossible," Kade said. "So was breaking a centuries-old curse with untrained magic." I held out my hands, but I did it anyway. Rylan took my left hand. Kade still held my right. And I felt it. Both bonds. One sealed, one frayed but healing. Two threads winding together instead of pulling apart. "I'll be damned," Maya breathed. "It's actually working." 6 months later, I stood in the window of the pack house, watching snow fall over Silver Peak Valley. My hand rested on my swollen belly, feeling the baby kick. "Hungry?" Kade's voice came from behind me, his arms wrapped around me, careful of my stomach. "Always," I admitted. "I'll make something." Rylan appeared in the doorway, his smile warm. "What do you want?" "Surprise me." He vanished toward the kitchen, and Kade pressed a kiss to my temple. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "Fat, tired, happy." "Good." His hand covered mine on my belly. "The council meeting is in an hour." "I know," I sighed. "They still want to test the baby's blood." "They're not getting it," Kade said flatly. "They think it might hold the key to helping other cursed bloodlines." "I don't care. Our child isn't a cure. They're a person." "I agree." I turned to face him. "But we should hear them out." "Why?" Because breaking the curse wasn't just about saving you and Rylan. It was about making sure this never happens to anyone else. He studied me for a long moment. You want to share what you learned? I want to give other wolves hope. The way someone should have given it to you. Rylan returned carrying a tray. Am I interrupting? No, I said. Just discussing the council. He set the tray down. They want the blood. They're not getting it, Kade repeated. But maybe we give them something else, I said. Maya's been studying my magic for months. She understands how it works now. We could teach others. Train witches to break curses instead of create them. Both of them went quiet. You'd do that? Rylan asked finally. Risk exposing your power? I'd do anything to make sure no one else has to choose between the people they love. Kade pulled me close. Rylan's hand found my shoulder. 2 mates, 1 heart, 3 souls bound together in a way that shouldn't have been possible. But we made it possible anyway. Together? Kade asked. Together, Rylan and I said at the same time. And for the first time in my life, I knew exactly where I belonged.